Hello, welcome to this video that I've been meaning to do for a while now, and now I'm doing it. But first, let's make sure that this thing is recording. Hi, forgot to mention I'm talking about books in this video. Okay, bye. The fucking external mic doesn't work, so I have to be using the fucking Zoom recorder, and that's fine. What else is there to use? The first book that I'm going to be talking about today. Everyone loves her, everyone knows her, everyone has an experience with her. And if you haven't, you'll get there. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Who knows Sylvia? Let's make some noise for Sylvia. A year ago, I stumbled across The Bell Jar, and I had a collection of Sylvia Plath poems already in my library. But I never read them. Like they just sat in my room on the bookshelf until one day the Bell Jar audiobook was on my recommended on YouTube, and the rest is history. I couldn't stop listening to it. Oh my god. My dumbass accidentally clicked out. Anyways, but yeah, then a year ago I found the audiobook and I started listening to it at work, and suddenly I was spiraling. I was with Esther. I was Esther, actually. No, I was listening to the audiobook so much that when I was journaling, because I like to write a lot, I could hear the narrator, Maggie Gyllenhaal, in the background of my subconscious as I was writing. And I was like, okay, girl, we need to put the book down. But I eventually got the physical copy at the bookstore. She's cool, she's fun, she's fresh. I thought I was genuinely gonna spiral into a depression. I mean, I did, but that's besides the point. She's number one. I will always go back to her. But that's the first book. I thought I would start off with fiction first and then just work my way through my book stack, but I organized it by genre and shit, so that should be fun. The second book on here is a new one to the collection, The Rotation. Shout out to Brianna for getting me the book. Tender is the Flesh. I was unaware of this book, but apparently it was popular on TikTok. And my friend Brianna was like, hey, I think you would like this. Mind you, her reasoning was because I listened to Ethel Cain, and Ethel Cain plays around with cannibalism a little bit. And so I've kind of developed a fascination for that subject. Yellow Jackets comes to mind. I haven't finished it. I haven't finished any of these books besides The Bell Jar and maybe 2 poetry books. But this book is interesting in the sense that I'm taking a rhetorical theory class, and we're learning a lot about systems of oppression and all that fun liberal arts shit. But as I'm reading this, I've been annotating and making connections between what's going on in the book, greater society, the society, real life, and then stuff that I've been learning during class. So it's been a very fun read. It's very much a page turner too. Let me see what chapter I'm on. Period. I stopped on chapter 20. And the cool thing about this book, I feel like most novels, most of their chapters are the same. These chapter lengths vary, and I was a little okay, I'm going through this book really fast, but I like how some of them are short because then I feel wow, I'm reading a lot. But Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Bazterrica. I know I whitewashed that name, but I don't like when I speak Spanish. I sound gay. Anyways, that's besides the point. And that concludes the fiction section. This next chunk of books is all poetry, which is my favorite type of literature, or favorite thing to read, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna take a bit. I'm gonna hit my vape. So these next 2 books are by the same author, and once again, Ethel Cain, you've inspired this video in more ways than one. The first poetry collection is Do Not Bring Him Water by Caitlin Scarano. And I mentioned Ethel Cain again because 1, I'm trash, and 2nd, I saw Ethel Cain's story a while ago of this book, and I was really intrigued by the cover design. But Ethel Cain can literally throw up, and I'll be like, yeah, that's art. I'll listen. But I saw the cover art and I was like, yeah, I need to buy this. So I quickly went to Caitlin's website and I bought one. One of my favorite poetry collections. I find myself coming back to it. Very good, very slay. These are like not proper terms for describing poetry, but it's very like it's in the realm of Ethel Cain, Southern Gothic, or like rural Gothic. I don't even know if that's a term, but like that's how I can describe it. It's very that. And when I was reading this one, I vividly remember working on like poems that like mimic Caitlin's writing, or like I took heavy inspiration from her. 10 out of 10. We'll read it. We'll probably read again. Most definitely. The next book is her follow up to Do Not Bring Him Water, or like her second official collection. It's called The Necessity of Wildfire. This one I enjoyed a lot. Like I enjoyed both of them, but I find myself like I was really excited about getting this one because like, oh, I read her book, yada yada yada, and so the hype was there for me. And so I read it, I loved it, I cried, I contemplated, I had many epiphanies, I was once again very inspired by her. She was the winner of the Ren Poetry Prize as selected by Ada Limón, current poet laureate, I realized, so period Ada. I was like really interested in like hearing what Caitlin had to say about the book, so I was like trying to look for any sort of interview on YouTube or whatever. And I found a like Zoom interview between her and Ada, and they were just going back and forth reading some pieces, and it was a very good conversation. Loved it. Was just like I put it on my headphones at work and I let them speak and I was inspired. What can I say? But yeah, that is The Necessity of Wildfire. Once again, Southern Gothic, rustic, a lot of deer. Well, that's more Ada. She writes about deers too. And we're back. The third poetry book is Ada Limón, Bright Dead Things. I'm currently reading this one, or I'm trying to. I like rotate books. I can't just commit to one and sit with it. I have to like have a little bit of everything. But Bright Dead Things, and once again, what can I say that hasn't already been said? It's my first Ada Limón body of work. Creative writing teacher was very like, Ada Limón, and so I was like, okay, I'll check her out, and I'm so glad I did, because I feel like any time I'm reading something, I'll just get like inspired and want to try to imitate their style in some way. I want to write as well as the people I'm reading. Does that make sense? Ada Limón, love her. I'm probably gonna buy another collection of hers once I'm finished with this one. This next book, I just started, but to preface this video, I know I'm like 10 minutes into it. I am not well versed in literature in the sense that like I'm still a baby writer. Like I have a lot to learn and I'm learning. So I didn't know about this poet laureate thing. My school was lucky enough to throw this like craft conversation with Joy Harjo, and I bought 2 of her books. One of them is signed. I like snatched it because they were like, yeah, there's some signed books in the back, and I was like, let me run. So I ran. This is Weaving Sundown in a Scarlet Light by Joy Harjo. She was such a fantastic speaker. Me and my roommate were like talking about it after she talked, and we still talk about it. It's kind of a bit now, but it was such a magical experience seeing her read her poetry, and it was almost a performance. Because in the beginning she like played a wooden flute, I think was the instrument, but it's very trance-like, and my communication studies brain was like, wow, this is a performance piece, and it was beautiful. There was one piece that's in this book, I think, that she didn't have marked, so she just recalled it from memory, and I was gagged. Like I almost cried. Her embodiment of reading that poem from her mind, amazing. What I gotta say about that? This next book is it's her memoir, one of them. I think she has multiple, but it's Poet Warrior. I bought this one at her So there was 2 nights. There was the craft conversation, which was a lot less people than her reading, which was the following night. And so I bought this on the second night. Wasn't able to get it signed, but it's okay. She had a lot of people. I haven't started it yet. I'm kind of been focused on another nonfiction book that's not related to like poetry or anything. So I've been focusing more on that. I can't wait to start this. I hope it is inspiring.
I know that Augustina's fictional, but she's so real.
She's mother.
The feminine ability to forgive is so powerful. So many people hurt her, and she's still just like. Even at the end, when she's like forgiving her mother, like that's so hard. Sorry, I just laid on my floor and listened to all the Preacher's Daughter from start to finish and pretended like I didn't exist. But then it got to Strangers and suddenly I existed again, and so did Ethel Kane. Like, no one listens to Ethel Kane the way I listen to Ethel Kane. My book video. And I just like recontextualized so much of it through the lens of feminism.
See, guys, critical theory works.
It will emotionally wreck you, but yeah, it works. Yeah, I got accepted to the symposium. Not accepted.
Watch me get rejected live. Do you have your break email on your phone?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you not?
No. Girl, I don't want to see you. If I'm off the clock, don't. No.
They sent out another. Again, check your work email. They sent out another email that the actual deadline isn't till March 1st.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Sarah Lynn emailed me earlier.
I did my sound presentation today. I was shaking, genuinely shaking. I know I had like fun with it, but like are people gonna get it? Maybe I'm just being a hater, but I was like, there's some people that like, I'm having fun with it.
Sorry for derailing it. The only other person on this earth who could understand the amount of emotional devastation that comes from listening to that album.
It's too good. There's layers.
She's Gremlin baby. Oh.
Guys, we have a special guest to the show.
Step
Oh.
on his head. Yes!
Yes. Oh, okay.
She said, I'm gonna walk all over you.
Oh. That shit was scary.
Bye for real now.
Okay. Let me hold this. This last poetry book, I got it when I was really depressed. I remember where I was. I was at a Barnes & Noble, and we ran into my friends back at home. We ran into some friends from high school, and I told them about Sylvia Plath. Like, I remember the day. But the grief we are given, it's about grief, it's about death, it's poetry. Like, it's, they kind of go hand in hand. It's by, who is this by? William Bortz. Girl, I'd be like finding my fucking sticky notes from when I was just drafting stuff, and they're like bad. Not much to say. This one has been on rotation for like a few months, and I can only do grief for so long before I'm like, let me just, I'll probably pick this up again. Play with structure, guys. That's what everybody does, right? This next book I saw at the bookstore. Bitch, I'm tweaking. It's called The Social Photo, Photography and Social Media. It's completely in my field of interest, where communication studies and photography, social media, all that fun stuff, but inspiration that I'm picking out of this, ideas of perception and ephemerality and temporary things. That's kind of been a theme that I've been playing around with in my writing. I took a darkroom class over the summer last year, I think, or this past year. I learned the word latency. I've made that my entire poetic personality. Anytime I'm in conversation about something, I'll try to bring it up because that's the theme that's happening. Happy senior year, guys. Running out of time. Stuff like that. I've slowly been going through this. There's an idea of the mummy complex and wanting to entomb time and hold on to it. and just never let it go. And that's kind of what photographers do, and that's kind of what poets do in a way. And so I'm like trying to connect them through my writing as of recently. Good book. These next two are just randoms that they're not randoms. I picked them out for a reason, but like I have not opened them since I got them. And that's usually my problem with books, is I buy too much, or like I buy a new one and just never open it. But like I'm adding it to the collection. I'm like, there's a vision in my head of a library, a little book nook, and all of these books are there. Let me live in my fantasy. My cat's meowing. Love her. This book is a collection of photographs by Dorothy Newman. Who is she? Hold on. Dorothy Norman. Sorry, girl. I need to buy more photo books. Because if I want, and this is my thing, I don't like doing this, but if I want to get better at something, learning about the people who came before you and what they've been doing and how you can find your niche, right? But like that's so much work. So I need to buy more fucking photo books. And she's the first of hopefully a lot. A lot, okay. How do I describe her work? Oh my god, it's getting dark outside. You guys. I don't know who this man is, but she had an affair with him, and she loved him. He was married to Georgia O'Keeffe. I don't know who that is, but I do know who that is. But I don't know who that is. Just some lore. Love a good lore. And the last book for tonight has been on my like wish list on Amazon for like 3, 4, 10 years, I feel. And I've seen it at the bookstores, and I would always just walk past it because I was like, I'll get it one day. And then I finally bought it. But it's Just Kids by Patti Smith. I read her book, The Year of the Monkey, and yeah, I ate that shit up. It inspired me. What could I say? And so when I read that, I knew that I had to get Just Kids. And I've read a few pages. I'm very excited to learn more about Robert Mapplethorpe because I feel like he is on the Pinterest board for every gay photographer in the fucking world. He's on mine. What can I say? Patti Smith, I will get to you. I will get to you. And I'm going to be so powerful. What other books have I been reading besides that? I finally finished Grey's Anatomy. And originally what I was going to mention, the bell jar. There is a connection to be made between Esther Greenwood and Meredith Grey. And by extension, me. But that will be another video if I get around to it. I was like, I need to make this because I've been telling myself I was going to make it. And so I made it. And it's 30 minutes long. It's not gonna be this long. Hopefully not. We shall see. This was okay. I don't know how to end this. It's always awkward, cause then it's all quiet after I stop talking, and then I'm like, you just talked to yourself for 30 minutes. Like that's my slay. Okay. Okay. Bye.